Hello and welcome to another episode of Post-it. What? 2 episodes? Shocking. You get another shout out, Wombo, for a year's worth of pestering. In this episode, let's talk about being a production assistant / runner for the first time on a professional short film set. So last February this was. It was with a company called Wee Buns Films and the short was called The Last Letter. I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed to say anything about the story or anything like that until it's out, which it's not yet, so the mouth is zipped. The director, he offered me to come on for 2 weekends and I had to miss one of them because of a flipping music thing. Music always gets in the way, man. So I got there on the first day of shooting and was a bit like wary of going in, but just kind of went in, found the guy who I had to report to, the producer / production designer, and so started off kind of just moving things about, which I'm sure is 99% of the job. It was cool though, there were a couple of other runners on that day, so at least I had company. Everyone was actually really nice there. The director obviously being really friendly, actually gave us some sound advice, well not sound advice, but sound, good advice. The first day of the shoot was in this really quite cool location in Downpatrick, which was the old train station, and it was just amazing because they had all these retro trains. Some of our duties included wiping the big wet windows of the train, which was just really fun. No, I mean, it was actually fun. My preconception of the thing was that I would be running around making tea for people. Director Terry actually did ask me to make a couple of teas when I would be as bold to say I became his special tea man. There was a lot of standing around, it has to be said. As the director himself said, these people had worked together a lot before, and so they didn't need necessarily runners to do the menial tasks for them. They just got all the jobs covered. So in that sense, I wasn't necessarily doing as much as a standard runner, you know, who'd come on to be employed. It was just work shadowing, work experience. Although I am glad with the amount of stuff I got to do. It was a lot of fun. And, you know, even just for being in the thick of it and the whole mechanics of everything going on around you. And just in terms of like the professional set, they had the biggest big screens over things and the weirdest practical effects, like a big board with a bunch of holes in it, passed before a light, the moving train effect. It was also interesting kind of as a runner who didn't have to do everything, to listen in to things people were talking about. You know, there were people having their own arguments between themselves and you could tell who were the veterans and the bossy ones, and there were some really nice people as well. They were completely overstaffed, which meant a couple of people were, you know, very happy to give us runners a little, you know, a little bit of tip and just let us know kind of what was going on. There was also this point at which the sound crew, when Uganda Knuckles was still a thing, degraded into just the sound. I joined in, regrettably. It was one of the things that drew me a little bit more towards sound as opposed to camera on set, just because, I don't know, just getting that mic in place, man. Just getting that mic in there. We also had lunch, really tasty. Didn't want to like take the lunch of an actual crew member, but there seemed to be plenty. Back to work. Wasn't so much to do in the afternoon, but it just felt great to be there, really. So that was day 1. On day 2, we were in this bar in Killyleagh. I arrived there quite early in the morning and it was great because, you know, I was able to just get started with doing something. Sent me round to like set up the coffee stations. Standard runner job right there, mate. And then I was also tasked with setting up this white curtainy thing on one of the windows, which hopefully I'll have a picture to show you here, which I took because I was so proud of that a brilliant runner job. I was proud. I was. Just as the, you know, the young scrub there, it just felt so good to really be helping out. One of the bits was they were in the bar and they were taking drinks from their apple juice. And so we had to go around and fill up all their drinks after each cut. And then we were like sitting over at the bar, stirring, trying to bubble them up and get them all frothy. At one point I actually cut my finger on one of the sharp ends of the bottles. And I was just like, oh, how have I managed to do this? And actually draw attention to myself, the runner who's seen but not heard. That's the one. But the producers were lovely, actually had some bandages on hand. And then, after that, we actually headed back to the train station in Downpatrick for a few final shots. At one point, I had to do some bringing biscuits in for the crew, which was lovely, you know. You do feel appreciated, you know, I will say that. And then also, at one point on that day, I had the best job of all, which was running back and forth with an umbrella over the actors as they ran from the train into the station and back and forth between takes, which, you know, made me feel special inside. I just feel like a lot to be said for mastering that craft of a PA. Of a runner. So much so that after the BFI Academy, which I will make a video on, I created my PA pouch, which I will make a video on this as well. Just being there and ready and being appreciated and being ready to help before the help is needed. From what I remember of it, those 2 days felt like a week, just because they were from however early, you know, in the morning, 7 until 8 at night. So it was a long day. At the end, which was completely unexpected, I actually got paid. I got £40 for the whole 2 days, which was like, all right. Well, you know, I wasn't expecting anything. I just thought it was a placement. So that was something. And I had done paid work before that, but it was just the fact of going out and being there, an industry job, and getting a bit of financial recognition, if I do say so myself. But all in all, a great experience. I would so love to work with the same sort of people again. Honestly, I can't wait to see the film that they made. I don't think I'm allowed to yet because they don't release it to the poor runners. One of the things I'd say I'd have learned was I would say that you would need to wrap warm. But it got nippy standing around on some of those cold days in early February. But apart from that, I think that is everything. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next post-it.